Good morning and welcome to Saturday special of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. People often talk of spirituality, and I find that when they are talking of spirituality, they are quivering with fear. As a matter of fact, the reality is that fearlessness should be a corollary of spirituality. I remember as a kid, small, I think I was about 10 or 12, and some senior guy who posed as the savior of the world came to our house. And he said, "You should be afraid of God, fear God." Rab to Daryaka, that was a Punjabi word. And then I said, "What the hell?" And I told him, of course, it scandalized everybody present. I said, "Why should I fear God? On the one side, you say that God is an embodiment of love, God is a father to the universe. God stands for generosity, charity, love, affection. And then you say that fear God, way dacoits and thieves fear police. That's not done. Now, when I said it at that young age, I was sensitive to the fact that I had created a sensation and almost a scandal. But then I still couldn't believe that how can God, who is deemed to be the creator, the preserver, the loving God, need to be a figure of fear as well. How can spirituality use fear as a cloak? Or rather, the fake pseudo religions use fear as a cloak for spirituality and vice versa. And this fear they use to control the masses. The reality is that the fear and spirituality are antagonistic. They are not complementary at all. And what happens in spirituality happens in real life. Fearlessness, absence of fear in dealing with a life and its challenges, an appreciable attribute. And unfortunately, it's observed by its being negated. It is not innate, but it's a cultivated trait. People by nature are afraid. As a child, we are afraid of the dark. We are afraid of many things, of practically everything. And we have got to inculcate a trait of fearlessness. Broadly, its inception and subsequent progress depends on various factors like one's environment, circumstances, and life experiences. And the biggest role is played by the so called teachers, religious leaders, and even the parents who instill fear in the child. So much so that the figures of love, the embodiments of affection, become fear, figures of terror, not only of fear. The development is not limited to one's growing or formative years. It is a continuous lifelong process. Fearlessness can be superficial. It can be a facade for courage to enhance your self image in the society or for some other vested interest. However, instances of deep rooted bona fide fearlessness are available in real life. And coming back to spirituality, these very second rate religious leaders say, "Be afraid of God." But imagine, The real leaders, what they are afraid of God? Look at Rama. He went into exile at a hint of the desire of his stepmom. And he was not afraid to fight Rama. Parshuram. They are the Indian philosophy. Coming back, Jesus Christ could accept to be nailed alive and was not afraid. Rather, he forgave the people because they don't know what they are doing. Guru Nanak was imprisoned by Babur, and yet he said, "Paap ki jangla kablon dhaya, zori mange dalal," that he has come with an army of sinners and wants donation by force. Arjun Dev, sitting on burning embers, Tegh Bahadur, beheaded. Leave aside the religious leaders, the political leaders. Young Hakikat Rai, 12-year-old. Think numbers are plenty, and the examples can be multiplied ad infinitum. And that shows the fearless, and those people who were fearless were really spiritual, not the covering cowards. And why is it then we talk of being afraid of God? We talk of fear. This is because fear is really the result of mind's cognizance of weakness, insecurity, misdemeanor, wrong actions. You can be uncertain about your own capabilities, your resources, your health, your relationship, financial instability, and that makes you become fearful. Secondly, the anticipated dreaded penalty of one's misdeeds can be rankling cause of fear. The fear that you have done something wrong, the guilt complex. A guilt-ridden mind invariably is a fearful mind. There's a comment, by the way, here from Singh Jaspal. Is the fear of God being instilled by the political parties during the current election? Of course. Of course. As a matter of fact, the political system, in India at least, has become so weird that the name of the God is invoked and the culture is invoked for no reason. And your God and my God, the God of the Hindus and the God of the Muslims, and the God of the Christians, they are put in differentiated containers. And then it said that in case you have to protect your God, whose dictates you follow through your culture, then you have got to vote for X party or Y party. It is being used. And it's not being used today, it has always been used. As a matter of fact, Mr. Singh, I just wrote that in this election, all these political parties are, in fact, without exception, using fear of God, fear of culture, fear of unknown to promote their electioneering campaigns. Yes. So coming back, I was saying that the first is view about the uncertainties. And the secondly, it is because of the anticipated personality. But there's a third reason, which is much more important. And that's a universal human tendency to fear the unknown. Fear is a black godmother of all damnable things. And if they're damnable, how can they be spiritual? So the moment you talk of spirituality and you talk of fear, these are two antithetical things. The universal human tendency to fear is wrapped in uncertainty. People are afraid of inevitable reality, death. It's a phenomenon. It's a natural phenomenon. So why be afraid? And as I said, The real religions are the real religious leaders, not the fake ones that we see today, not asarams. But say, Guru Nanak, when he talked of God, he called him fearless, nirbhay. Where is that gone in the spirituality concept today? And as a matter of fact, I find that some religious, spiritual leaders, I won't call them religious, are really so fearless. Imagine Bulleh Shah saying that he would go to, not to Mecca, let Hajis go to Mecca, but he will go to Takht Hazara, the place where Ranja lived, the lover, the eternal lover. Now, for a so-called spiritual Muslim, this is apostasy. This is something which should result in death. And yet, Bulleh Shah could say it the same way Anal Haq was recited. We have to understand one thing, that in case you are really spiritual, you have got to understand that spirituality is synonymous with righteousness and purity of heart. It's replete with profound mystical wisdom. Life is not an enigma, and the people who say it's an enigma don't know what life is. They don't live it, they just exist it. They breathe, they eat, they walk around like mindless creatures. Life also doesn't function randomly. We may not be aware what's happening, but it is a very, very systematic algorithm. It functions impeccably on precise and infallible laws. And spirituality, in fact, elucidates the secrets and the esoteric concepts of life for the seekers. The concept of karma is nothing but Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. We accept that. So the potent laws become comprehensible and central to our lives. And conscientiously, we choose to adopt a mindful, virtuous disposition. So where's the need and where's the place for fear in this? And yet we are afraid. Then atoning for the wrongdoers come naturally. When we are equipped with those far-reaching, sublime spiritual truths, you develop confidence in life. You develop confidence in the perfect functioning and equity. You realize a benign, selfless action would fetch you good returns. So if that is going to happen, why be afraid? And if you have done something wrong and you are going to be punished, why be afraid? Adhering to the laws of life, you can pave the way to fearlessness. And that fearlessness is much better than going to all the temples, churches, and gurdwaras. The more spiritually advanced you become, the more fearless you tend to be. And if you're fearless, you don't, when you go to Gurdwara, you don't go for your own sake, majority of them. I'm not saying there's a universal rule, but in 90% cases at least, you go to show that you are honest. All thieves, all dacoits, make great offerings to their gods and goddesses. They even sacrifice humans. The more corrupt you are. I remember there was a student police in Patiala, in Punjab. In his home, adjoining his office, he had a room where Guru Granth was displayed. And when the people would come to him, he said, well, I can't do anything. Go to Guru, ask for his wishes. And the people will go in the adjoining room, bow before Guru Granth, place money over there. And his orderly will look at it, whether the money is sufficient or not. If the money was sufficient, he'll say, well, Guru will take care of you. And that was corruption surrounded in spirituality, according to these spiritual concepts. And he was afraid. One day, of course, he was caught. So you have got to be fearless if you're honest. Spirituality by itself is not a sine qua non of fearlessness. And when you can see through the impermanence and the trivialities of life, the dread of losing material possessions is reduced significantly. When you realize the transience of the life itself, you identify the physical body's decrease largely. That mitigates the fear of disease, pain, and even death. Thereafter, with a wise and exalted mind, even though ensnared in worldly attachments, you traverse life with joy and detachment. And when you are full of joy and detachment, then fear has no place in life. We forget that the most treasured endowment of embracing spirituality is unwavering faith in yourself, because you are embodiment of the cosmos. You are the image of God, if the God is ever there. And that unwavering faith in yourself, you have to develop over, over a period of time. It's not done in 1 second. And this unaltering faith in yourself, this complete confidence in yourself, single minded, this confidence will enable you to manage the art of being receptive to the divinity within you. And not only in the times of enjoyment and happiness, but also in the most devastating conditions. Absolute faith in your capabilities, your honesty, your authenticity would keep you strong and dauntless. Now, remember, no spiritual journey can be consummated without seeking the help of mindfulness. It's the fastest and the surest way of spiritual advancement and most potent way of connecting with your capabilities to suppress your repressed fears and insecurities. Even the fear of death is diluted to a great extent, and you tend to become blissful, secure, peaceful, fearless. And fearless once you are. That's a corollary of, as I said, spirituality. The day you are fearless, you have reached the acme of spirituality because you are one with cosmos. And that is what real spirituality is. Thank you.